Hey, what's going on, Bitcoin extremists? I am Patrick, your Bitcoin motorist, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this argument I keep hearing in the Bitcoin space. I'll call it the MySpace argument, or you can call it anything. You can call it the Netscape argument. You can call it the Model T argument or the AOL argument. And this is an argument where it goes something like this, where it goes, Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency to market, but just because it was the first doesn't mean it was the best. And something may come along later that is better than Bitcoin. Um, this is an extremely stupid argument. Okay, but here's the thing about it is it sounds really good, and you hear people repeat this all the time. It sounds like a really, really good argument. It sounds reasonable, but like many arguments, like many statements that sound very reasonable and sound logical on their face, um, if you look more into it, you can see that that is a very stupid position to have, and I'll explain why. So, you hear people repeat this all the time, whether it's on Twitter, on YouTube, people make this argument. They say, well, how do you know Bitcoin's, going to be it? How do you know that Bitcoin's not just MySpace, And the trouble with this argument is it's a very lazy argument. It's very easy to make this argument. And it's not exactly clear very quickly why it's a stupid argument. It's not clear right away. So I want to kind of break this down a little bit and kind of explain what it is, what the problem was that Bitcoin was solving, and why another currency, another crypto, whatever you want to call it, another blockchain isn't going to solve that argument. As my dog Whitney just jumped up in my lap. Hey Whitney, we're just talking about Bitcoin here. Nothing, nothing big going on. All right, so here it is. So the problem that Bitcoin solved was a very specific problem, okay, and no other altcoin innovates or improves on this problem. Okay, so here's the thing: Bitcoin isn't MySpace, and I know you think that's a stupid statement, but I mean this in even within the context of the argument that people make. Bitcoin is not first, okay? There was other attempts at making a private currency before Bitcoin. There were, okay? And I'm going to specifically talk about one of them, okay? So if you want to say that Bitcoin is like a tech company, it's certainly not MySpace. It's closer to Facebook. It's not AOL. It's closer to Google than AOL, okay? So there was a private currency called Liberty Dollar. Some of you may already know about this story, okay? So the Liberty Dollar was an attempt at making a private currency. It was an attempt at taking this money printing power away from the government and replacing it with a sound money that couldn't be inflated by government, a sound money that wasn't controlled by government, a sound money that couldn't be, controlled by a central bank. So that's what Liberty Dollar was. Okay, that's what Liberty Dollar was trying to be. Now, the interesting thing about Liberty Dollar is that they were raided by the FBI and the Secret Service, and some of the people behind Liberty Dollar were charged with certain offenses. And I was kind of curious as to see exactly when it happened, because I know it happened before Bitcoin. But I wanted to see if I could find the exact date when this raid occurred, and I looked it up, and I think it was I think I have it up here. Is it November 17th or something? It was November 17th of 2007. I want to say. I don't remember the exact date, but it was like November something. November 14th. It was November 14th of 2007 when the Liberty Dollar offices were raided by the feds. So, and if you think about when the Bitcoin white paper was released, the Bitcoin white paper was released October 31st, 2008. So the raid occurred November 14th, 2007 on Liberty Dollar. The Bitcoin white paper came out about a year later, just less than a year later. You know, 14 or 15 days difference from a year. So that was the problem that Bitcoin was trying to solve. Is Bitcoin wanted to be a type of private currency or asset, whatever you want to call it, that was not controlled by the government, that couldn't be inflated, that was not controlled by a central bank. It wanted to be a sound private money. But it solved specifically the problem that Liberty Dollar had. It had to be decentralized. There couldn't be a central server. There couldn't be a CEO. Excuse me. So when you hear this argument that how do you know Bitcoin is, just because it's the first doesn't mean it's the best. Well, it's not the first. Okay? And all these other altcoins, shit coins, these poop coins, whatever you want to call them, that come out and, they turn into pump and dump schemes or outright scams or, confuse the market. And because people are like, well, just because Bitcoin's first doesn't mean it's the best. Well, Bitcoin wasn't first. Bitcoin specifically addressed this one problem, or one of the problems that Bitcoin, one of the main problems that Bitcoin solved was the centralization problem. All these altcoins are all centralized. Okay, they pretty much all are centralized. So they're actually closer to MySpace than Bitcoin is. Okay, so it's not that Bitcoin is MySpace. Bitcoin is Facebook. These other altcoins are closer to MySpace. They're taking a step back. They're going, back to being centralized. So this is why when you hear someone make this argument, you can just scoff at them and understand that this is someone who's confused. They don't know what problem Bitcoin was trying to solve. And all these altcoins, none of them are innovating anything. None of them are expanding on this problem that Bitcoin solved. Okay, Bitcoin is supposed to be uninflatable. You're not supposed to be able to make more of them. Well, what do these altcoins do? They go around, they fork Bitcoin, they make new ones. They, a new altcoin. All you have to do is copy a bunch of code, paste it, change a few parameters here and there, and poof, you have yourself a new shitcoin. Where's the innovation? Okay, anybody can do that. As someone who's not a programmer, or someone who's not a cryptographically sound programmer can do that. There's nothing there. There's no there. Okay, the innovation is happening in the space, but it's happening on Bitcoin. There's all these things that are coming out on Bitcoin. These Schnorr signatures is one of them. I'm really excited about Lightning Network. I want to play around with Lightning Network a little bit. Do some. I opened up a Lightning channel and I want to do some stuff. Running your own node. I mean, you can do that on Bitcoin. Try running an Ethereum node. See how far that gets you. If you can't verify your own transactions with your own node, you're a centralized shitcoin. Okay, and for most of these other blockchains, that's what they are. They're centralized shitcoins. They're not actually improving anything. So what they're doing, what these altcoins are doing, is they are confusing noobs who are coming into the space, who are getting interested in Bitcoin or hear about Bitcoin, and they want to buy some Bitcoin, and they decide it's too expensive, and then they buy some shitcoin instead. That's what they're doing. They're there to enrich the people who founded this altcoin, and they're there to confuse noobs. There's nothing there. Okay, they're not worth your time. They're not worth your money. If you want to gamble on them, trade on them, do what you want. It's your money. But there's no, there's no next Bitcoin. It's not there. We have Bitcoin, and there's nothing that any of these other coins can do that you can't already can't already do on Bitcoin. And if there is some other feature that you can do, it's either A, useless, like building all these dApps on Ethereum, or B, if it's actually a useful feature, it will eventually be incorporated into Bitcoin, either through the protocol, if not through the base layer, then through one of the second layer solutions. So anyway, that's what I wanted to let you guys know, and feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and you can find me on Twitter. I'm Bitcoin Motorist on Twitter, and if you have any questions or suggestions or anything that I didn't think about, or if you have a topic that you would like me to talk about in the future, please do so. Please let me know in the comments, or let me know on Twitter. Find me on Twitter and let me know on Twitter. And I'll try to make a future video talking about it. Thank you all for listening. Have an awesome day. Bye.